Today we're doing a bid review on the FedMS database service opportunity from our December bid list. So if you are an IT company, small business, you're entering the federal space, maybe you're already in it, this is going to be for you. But there is also a staffing component to this. And also just know when I'm doing these bid review videos, like we did in the last COVID screener video, we are doing them in the framework of capture management training. So this can benefit any small business doing this. If you don't have some sort of capture process built in, we're giving you the framework, and that's how we're going to be moving forward as we do this review. So if you are in IT, I can tell you right off the bat, this is a total small business set aside. So this is worth watching. Like the last one was SDVOSB, so that we precluded a lot of small businesses. This is open to any small business. And again, it's IT, but there's a staffing component. And, we're doing just the framework of capture management training here on SAM.gov. So I really insist, if you don't have that as an SOP in your business, that you start to really practice and engage and, look at what other industries have in common with your own industry if IT happens to not be the business that you're in. I'll go ahead and remind everybody, this is our December bid list. I posted it a few videos ago. And you can see number 25 here, FedMS database services. This is due December 10th. So I'm actually a little bit behind the 8 ball on this one. It's due Friday and today's Monday. But that's why it's highlighted, and that's the one we're digging into today. And again, to remind everybody at home, for the capture management framework, the training that we're doing today, it's going to consist of finding these 10 critical pieces of information and then answering these 5 questions based on that information to ultimately make a intelligent and informed bid, no bid. This is a way to go through the solicitation without reading every single page. Okay, for those of you that are totally overwhelmed, looking at a 50-page, 70-page, 100-page solicitation, that's why I'm teaching you this, because instead we're just kind of going in right now and hunting and finding this critical information to make a bid review to determine whether or not we're going to even go after this. And if we do, obviously we're going to read more thoroughly through the areas like the statement of work and things like that. But today we're not spending a whole lot of time on that. So I think we got everything teed up, so let's just go ahead and dive in. So here's the SAM.gov listing page. This is the same link that you'll find in the December bids list, and we're going to start filling out this information. So some of this I already knew through my own information, but the due date December 10th, and we'll just start plugging and chugging. You can definitely do this at home. The set aside is total small business, so if you're a small business, you can go after this. NAICS code is going to be environmental consulting services, so 541620. As you can see, there's an easy plug and chug for the first 3. Now we're going to dig into the scope. Really fast, I'll show you the attachments. We have the solicitation package, number 1, and then we do have an amendment, number 2. So right now we're just going to be looking at the solicitation itself, and it's all of 66 pages. So these things, they're really not short. We got our SF 1449 form, but again, specifically, what are we looking for? We are looking for scope. Scope is the work being performed. What is the actual job? So just coming down to page 3 here, they're giving us some info, so we're going to kind of take a look and read through that. The Army Corps Buffalo District has a requirement for the procurement of formerly utilized sites remedial action program, so FUSRAP. So they've got this FUSRAP environmental data management system. This is for non-personal services to create a centralized FedMS. Okay, we're getting very acronymy here very, very quickly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pump the brakes and I'm going to search instead for the PWS, the statement of work, performance of work statement. There's a couple ways that you can search and call it by, but I'm going to type scope and see. Okay, that's not what I want. I know it's in here, so let's go to statement of work. PWS. Okay, so those did not take us exactly to where we want to go, but I know it's in here, so we're going to do the manual scroll until we hit it. And then I'm going to wonder why. Performance work statement. So maybe because I had the oven there, it didn't work. But for your own training, performance. Okay, there's 60 of those, so you don't want to go with that. Work statement. 7. Okay. So if we would have searched this, it would have been better, but okay. So again, we're still answering this scope question. And specifically what I'm looking for is for a sentence, maybe a couple sentences to just summarize what this job is. We already know it's IT. We know they're talking about this fuss wrap thing. Again, data management services, consulting, project support associated with managing electronic data resulting from the environmental work. So that's pretty much perfect. That's a really, really great summary statement. And again, this is just for your own learning and your own understanding. Whatever that statement is for you, that will remind you and inform you of what the work is. That is what you should be entering here. But we can see that they're going on to provide a lot more bullet points, more specifically to what this means and what this includes. And we're actually moving on. We're not reading through all of this specifically right now. Again, we're doing the high level information so that we can make an informed bid, no bid decision. So next, place of performance. What I like to do is always check and see where contracting sits, Buffalo, New York. And I know that they also did say, I believe, the Buffalo district earlier on. So I'm going to search place of performance. It's not always going to work. Yep, this one did not work either. I think every search we worked on the last bid, so it's just a matter of time that we don't get so lucky. So instead, I'm going to just do a quick scroll here. Usually the pricing cleanse will sometimes include it. Doesn't look like they have it in there. Instead, I'm pretty confident that they'll have it in the delivery information, but they did not include anything in the delivery information. So usually that's a great go-to place to find the exact address. You can literally pull it up on Google Maps and all that good stuff. So what we're doing is we're really kind of, hunting a little bit. And now I know that they said Buffalo, so that's going to be the next thing that I go back. So let me see here. Again, this is Buffalo, Niagara Street, Buffalo, New York. That's contracting. It is possible that is where the work is being performed to. So the Army Corps of Engineers, Buffalo District, has a requirement for this. Okay, so this is pretty much where I'm leaning. It's looking to me, they could be procuring for a different location, but it is looking to me at this point, without spending any more time on it, that Buffalo District is actually where the work is going to be performed as well. So for now, we will call it USACE Buffalo District, and we will move on. If I can spell. All right, USACE Buffalo District. And I always like to just USACE Buffalo District. I always like to make it real for you guys. So 1776. Pull it up on a map. Here it is, right on the water. Usually the USACE is always by some sort of body of water. And so here we go. Okay. Looks like we're even, it's really close to Niagara Falls. That's pretty much what you need to know here. So right by Canada, Niagara Falls, and Buffalo, New York is the area that we're looking at. So that gives us a bit of a context and framework. Next, period of performance. We'll go back to this and we will try to do our search. Period of performance and just see. So they're referencing it, but they're not giving us the actual dates. So again, we are just searching a little bit, and I know that there's got to be a pricing. Here we go. The pricing table, guys, is where you always go pretty much to get a period of performance. So they're letting us know January 2022 to January 2023 is the initial setup of the Fed MS system. Okay. My guess is there's going to be option years though. So they got systems operation and maintenance from 23 to 24, and then professional support services from 23 to 24. So it's like the first year is the setup, and then I'm seeing ops and maintenance and also professional support services for the same year concurrent moving forward. They're calling that let's see, it's really the second option because the initial setup is CLIN 0001. Then we move into option 1 and then 1002. And then after that, we have option years. So 2024 to 25 for both, 25 to 26 for both, and then 26 to 27 for both. So it looks like a base plus 4 option years beginning January 2022. So this is, a great contract. If you get this renewed, you get the option years executed, then that's a really great thing to know. January 2022 to, what is the final? Just January 27. Okay. 2027 base plus 4 option years. So that is the period of performance. And again, this is something that's super important to analyzing, making these bid, no bid decisions, because you want to know how much time you have to perform on this contract, how much time you have to bill out an invoice. I know a lot of you companies in the small business space and the commercial space, you're looking at the federal arena, right? Because maybe you've outgrown the space that you're in, or maybe you want to diversify, or maybe you want to get off of the contracts that are like 3 and 6 month long, maybe in the city, state, and local space, and you want to go for something longer. This is where this really ties in. Looking at a 5-year contract, that's something that is very, very attractive to businesses that are hungry for something like that. So now we've got response, set aside, NAICS, scope, place, and period of performance. We got a lot of the entry-level information off the table. Now we're going to get a bit more into the weeds, and we're going to look at the evaluation factors. We're going to answer yes or no to the requirements of technical, past performance, or price. And then if it's yes, then what is it? What are they asking for? And then lastly, the procurement strategy. Then we'll move on to our 5 questions. So we're going to keep the pace up, look at these 3: technical, past performance, and price. So to do this, we want to look at the instruction to offers and the evaluation factors. So again, I'm going to my Control F, and I'm going to type in, just going to type in instruction for now, because we haven't had too much luck. But here we go. Instruction actually worked for us. So instruction to offers, this is where they tell you what they want in the response. It's important to know this so that you can decide and make a bid, no bid, obviously. So it looks like they're giving us A through, let's see. The letters quickly run off. So we got A through E. Looks like A through E, so it doesn't look too bad. So they have specific mandatory formatting requirements. So they definitely want 8.5 by 11 inch pages. They want numbers on each page, 1 inch margins. We're back into like 10th and 11th grade English class. Paragraphs shall be single spaced. No smaller font than 11-point font. Got it. It's important though. This may seem trivial to you, but they will literally, these are called tripwires. They will throw your solicitation out, your proposal response out. If you had like 10-point font, they literally don't have to read a word except for the word that was in the 10-point font and say, okay, we're not going to evaluate you because you used 10-point font. So these are tripwires. The government is literally taught, contracting officers are actually taught, not necessarily to use tripwires, but they are taught to not evaluate and go further if you do not abide by every single one of these things. So you can have the greatest proposal, the best price and everything, but if you use 10-point font or you did the wrong page margins, they're going to throw you out and they won't even take a look at you. So trivial but important. But now getting to more the important things that we're looking for. Again, technical, past performance, and price. They want solicitation number. This has to be listed on your response. The time specified for the receipt of offers. You have to put that in there. Name, address, phone number. Got to have it. Now we're getting somewhere. Number 4, a full resume for each of the proposed personnel. So I kind of didn't get too much into the PWS, like I said. We're on page 15 right now. I just want to show you something. Because they did get into a bit more of what they wanted, and I think it's important for you to see that before we look at this one. So they're giving you some more specifics of the project, and then they're talking about key personnel. So this is what they're talking about, why you need the resumes. So they're telling you literally the labor category. It says environmental professional level 1 through 3 can be any mix of the following disciplines: chemist, data management professional, geologist, hydrogeologist, and then the GIS professionals. And then also a key database personnel. So programmers levels 2 and 3, and system admins levels 2 and 3. So they give you a description of what these potentially could look like. I'm not going to read that part of it, but then they also give you the education and experience requirements in terms of the degree, working experience, things like that. So this is backing up from when we're looking at, again, the resume part of it. This is where that is coming from, okay? Then they have a wage determination. So you can, I'm not going to get into wage determinations right now, but a wage determination is just the minimum amount of pay that you have to pay the employee that's in accordance with one of these classification codes, occupation codes rather. And what you do for your pricing is you choose one, and this way this goes with your backup pricing, and what the employee is getting paid is no less than this. In case you get audited by the Department of Labor, you can see this is Service Contract Act by the US DOL. They're going to ask you, okay, give me the occupation code for these specific labor positions that you have on contract that you're billing against. That's where you would have to supply this. Then they'll look at what the person is getting paid, and they're going to compare these two. But you got to keep in mind health and welfare, fringe, vacation days, holidays, all that stuff has to be incorporated into that as well. Again, we're not doing pricing today. I talk about that in a number of other videos, just giving you a bit of the background on the resumes and the positions that they were talking about here. So again, a full resume for each. Now we know what that means. Each resume should not be more than 15 pages. And it says the proposals will be rated based on the meeting to demonstrate the following bullet points, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so bringing this back. Is there a technical required? Yes, they are talking about resumes. You're going to need to provide resumes for each of these positions required, okay? We're not seeing anything else other than the resumes at this point. So that is going to be all encompassing. And that's just number 4 here. So I know it seems like a lot, but we're staying organized. We went number 1, 2, 3, and then that whole little blob we went through was number 4. Now we're on number 5, past performance. So we already know past performance. Let's go ahead. Technical, yes. Resumes. Past performance, yes. Let's see what it has to say. A minimum of 3 past performance projects that are similar to the work, and similar, they're probably going to define that more, but it's going to have to be relevant in scope and magnitude. Basically, they're saying, again, within the past 5 years, they want contracts. What else are they telling us here? So Peepers, the past performance information retrieval system, if you've done federal work before, you do have a scorecard, if you will, and that is saved in the government's Peepers system. And that way the government can pull on that. So you will reference that information that's in the Peepers system if you are an existing federal contractor. Derek, I'm not an existing federal contractor. I'm just a commercial business. I'm trying to enter the federal space. Okay, we got you. What they're saying is, for any of the past performance examples, if the government has not finalized past performance ratings, or even if they are not U.S. federal projects, then instead they want you to complete the signed past performance questionnaire. This is a PPQ. So I just got commercial experience. That's fine. It's a non-U.S. federal project. That's okay. It's not going to be in this Peepers system. Instead, fill out the PPQ. Okay, and I believe they gave that to us in here, so it's worth showing. So now I remember where I saw it. They actually did not include it in the solicitation page. They actually added it as an amendment. So remember that second document. That's why it's so crucial and important that you open all the documents that are associated with the solicitation in the SAM.gov listing page here. This update here that was made November 24th now, they actually have the amendment. So scrolling down, well, I'll actually show you. They've uploaded Q&A, so you definitely want to read through these as well. For example, is it allowed to provide subcontractor resumes? The government answered yes. Are commitment letters to be signed by the individuals whose resume is being submitted? This requirement will be removed. So they're saying, possibly that the letter of commitment is not required. Only requirement is that when the performance begins, any key personnel must meet the minimum qualifications on the PWS, which essentially allows a different person to perform on the job than what was initially submitted. And I think the government just knows that, this might not be awarded for a little bit, even though January 22 is the initial setup. So this thing kind of has to get going pretty quick here. But those people may have taken jobs over like that month time span. So as long as the person meets those minimum requirements that we looked at, the government now has to allow that instead of sticking to this commitment letter from an individual who actually signed it. So that's what they're talking about in this RFI. We're not going through the RFIs, guys. I could go into obviously a lot more depth into a lot of things to help you, but I'm trying to be succinct and as organized as possible. And that brings us to our actual PPQ, Past Performance Questionnaire form. So this is what I was referencing, the non-federal U.S. project. Hey, Derek, I don't have any federal experience yet. I just have commercial. Okay, well, you're going to put that on this form. Whoever your customer was is going to essentially fill this out on your behalf. It's only a couple pages long, and you'll do this for each of your projects. So they're asking for 3, remember? So you'll have 3 of these forms filled out on your behalf. And those should be emailed to contracting, and they'll give you those instructions in this solicitation document as well. So bringing it back, past performance, yes. We're going to go ahead and say Peepers, or if non-federal, PPQ. Fair enough. Now we are plugging along. Now we're going to just go straight to the price. And we already glanced at those pricing CLINs. Again, it's super important to know that you have the base plus 4 option years, and that initial period is for the initial setup. So they're wanting 1 job for that. So from January 22, January 2023, quantity 1. What is this initial setup going to cost? We need 1 number. That's what the government's telling us, 1 job. And then after that, 23 to 24, and they break it out. So it's going to help you with your pricing on the option years. The ops and maintenance versus just the professional support services. And again, you'll find more about that out in the PWS. Remember, they're asking for like consulting also. So that's where you're going to be able to segregate your pricing for these 2 different buckets of money right here. And it'll be exactly the same for all of those option years. So the main thing here is realizing they want 1 number for the setup, and then they want a monthly number for each of these 2 breakouts for the option years moving forward, for the ops and maintenance and the professional support services. And to do that, you're going to be using the wage determination. This is going to help you with any of the staffing component of this, okay? And that's really about it that we're going into at this level with the pricing. So base plus 4, we will repeat that. We've got systems, ops, and maintenance, plus we have the professional support services, and then the procurement strategy. So I feel like we even seen this best value or lowest price. I think I may have even seen something in the SAM.gov listing here. So here it is. I kind of cheated. I looked at this ahead of time. This is a best value trade-off, which means the government does not have to choose the lowest bidder. This is the same as the screener bid that we looked at previously. The government wants a company that has done this before, or at least has relevant past experience and past performance. So they're going to a best value trade-off. So now we have our 10 pieces of information. Again, I could go into a lot more depth on a few more things, but the point of this is to be quick, it's to be targeted, and it's to be organized so that you can make sense of what I'm doing and implement this into your small business practice. So we have these 10 pieces of information. Let's answer these next 5 questions. Question 1, do I have enough time to respond by the due date? Again, we're cutting this one a little bit close. Today's Monday, this is due on Friday. So, can you get the resumes? I think you could. The pricing, it's not that advanced. We know that they're not going lowest price. So even if you had a few question marks, you could put a little bit of a buffer in there to protect yourself because they're not going lowest price, right? That's kind of my thought on that. And then also they did already post the Q&As in the amendment. So you may find out some additional, where is it? Here it is. Some additional information reading through these Q&As. So other people, you can see right here, other businesses, the PPQ template was not included. Okay, that's why they included it in the amendment. So somebody actually submitted that as an RFI. It looks like the Q&A deadline is already over though because they've posted the questions. These will also help you into making a bid, no bid decision. So for us, I'm going to say, it's doable, but it's kind of, again, up to you. Does a set aside prevent you from bidding on this? We answered this is total small business. So unless you're like, General Dynamics or Raytheon or something like that, and you're a large business, no, you are not. So that is a good thing. Can you perform the work as described in the PWS? We're going to assume yes, but that is for your company to answer. Can you satisfy all required evaluation factors? Again, what were those? The resumes for the technical, past performance, and they're even making it, more commendable for you for the non-federal work just to fill out those PPQs. So I don't think that's too bad. And also, guys, it says it in there, but just so you know, for all solicitations, if you don't have any past experience, what they do is they can't mark you down and they can't mark you up. So you get a neutral rating. So we're going to say, yes, you can. And is there an incumbent? You can always submit this question. It may have been one of those RFIs, questions answered. I didn't read through all of those, but that's something you should always be asking contracting or trying to find over an FPDS or something like that. Is there an incumbent? What was the previous contract award number? So you can look that up. What was the previous contract award value? What was the period of performance on that value? So those are all things to consider when trying to find out if there's an incumbent to help you get into the ballpark with this thing and maybe even have a chance at winning it. So bid, no bid. Let me know if you've enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you're going to go after this. You're going to make the 4.5-day sprint to put a package together to respond to it. If not, you still got in some very valuable, hopefully, capture management training. We got some more experience working with our 10 points and our 5 questions. But again, if you're going to go after this, or if this is not for you, let me know either way, if this was a bid or no bid in the comments of this video, if you enjoyed it. And also, go to the December bid list if you haven't yet. If you want me to review an opportunity just like this review, you want to cast a vote, go ahead and put a comment on the December bid list video that I uploaded last week. And I'll try and see how many more I can get to. Like I said, I'm going to try and look at a janitorial one next. So I did highlight that. That's why those are highlighted. I got a question about the highlights, so that's why that's the case too. So you can look forward to that video in the future. I'm trying to make these guys so that they are valuable to everybody, but then, also the different industries, they get a special look in more detail, kind of one bid at a time. So we get to go deep and wide at the same time looking at these. So again, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see y'all in the next video.